The propaganda is in full swing. A 96 on Metacritic, really, for this piece of shit? Just unbelievable. We already know that the claims about the story are bullshit. We already know that it's complete garbage. Nothing about this game looks appealing or interesting to me. But I'm also not really surprised about the critic score. Of course, we see Neil Cuckman here. I am not surprised that the gaming media has given this a 96 because they are extremely biased and are essentially marketing arms for Sony. They're giving it this high of a score because Sony told them to. That's really all there is to it. So I just thought we would go quickly go over all of these initially positive reviews. Gotta love how there's no negative reviews at all. Games don't have to feature only nice... Fuck. Don't do that. Games don't have to feature only nice characters that everyone loves. Instead, they should make us think, pissed off, be ambiguous. And this is what The Last of Us Part 2 is. An outstanding game. Oh, it's a thinking man's game, everyone. The Last of Us Part 2 is going to make you think. It's gonna make you angry. It's gonna be a mystery. No, it's so obvious. Like, look at this. Look at all these outlets that nobody cares about. Daily Star, Made Toast Nerds, Vandal, Press Start Australia. Who are these people? Oh, based IGN Japan. That's probably still a bit too high, but that's a bit more reasonable than IGN Americas. We have to go through all of these. This is just embarrassing. Oh, apparently, The Last of Us Part 2 is better than Persona 5 Royal. So, Atlas BTFO, if only you had made the switch. But anyway, it's not better than Persona 5, by the way. I can tell you that right now. I would defend Persona 5 over this shit. Let's see. The Last of Us Part 2 is a gut punch in the best way. A tour de force that takes the best parts of the original and molds them into their finest forms. Oh, the original that already wasn't very good to begin with. The story will leave you reeling, and there are several unexpected turns that will keep you invested throughout. The level of detail and quality in the world creation and story building are at the top of their class. What about the gameplay? Digital Trends? How is the game? How is the combat? How is the stealth? How does Ellie handle? Does jumping really innovate the game as much as Naughty Dog is saying it's going to? No! Like, it's just... Amazing fights, a great eye for detail, and one of the most important video game stories ever told. One of the most important video game stories ever told. Not the best, the most important. Pure propaganda. Like, this is how you know these journalists are full of shit. Like, they're straight up, like, giving these crazy buzzwords. The most important video game stories ever told. That even though The Last of Us Part 2 relishes in making players uncomfortable and reminding them characters can lose everything at a moment's notice, these bleak traits are part of the game's appeal, even if the charm's a morbid one. It's a monumental effort in storytelling and a model for tales of vengeance and repercussions pursed forward by gratifying gameplay. And while not everything you do will sit right with you, the game never leads players to believe the result would be anything different. V-Games. The Last of Us Part 2 is the perfect combination of an excellent Hollywood movie with a fat budget with fun and flowing gameplay. The phenomenal writing will touch every player and won't leave an eye dry of tears. Combat and... Why can't any of these people write? Combat and exploration are challenging and lead the player to use creativity and improvisation. A real masterpiece and a must-have for every PS4 owner. Well, I don't own a PS4 because I actually have standards. Gamer Sky, who are these people? Power Unlimited, Every IA, Spazio Games, Game Rant, Impulse Gamer, Telegraph, Guardian, Dark Station, Shack News, Game Blog. So many blogs that nobody... IGN, Game Informer, Trusted Reviews. Our good friends at Trusted Reviews. We can sure trust them with our video game reviews. Like, we got this covered. Like, all of these are either, like, known to be extremely biased, you know, like in the case of IGN or Game Informer, or complete non-entities that you can't really take any seriously. Like, who's going to Telegraph for their game reviews? Yet, they always talk... A walking simulator. Oh man, they called it out. And snippets of so many others all at the same time. Without the immensity of an open world, it masterfully emulates the sense of freedom, and without the classic features in RPG, it has allowed us to make characters our own, or rather the other way around. It is an evolution for the genre in terms of technical aspects and an exercise in maturity in terms of how it deals with its themes. Despite some sloppiness, they still gave it a 100. It holds the highest of standards and sets the mold for what should be the next generation of AAA games. Again, like, do you notice a theme here? Like, I didn't even have to look at these reviews to see what we would get with these. Like, nothing but, like, fluff. Nothing but, like, propaganda. Empty promises, essentially. Like, this is your 10 out of 10 game. The Last of Us Part 2. It has a good story and things happen in it. Like, no, it's... Just compare this to something like Breath of the Wild reviews, where people, like, would talk about it and, like, all the crazy shit. Again, this is really hollow in comparison. It's hard to describe, really, almost. But, yeah. In the end, it really comes down to the experience of playing The Last of Us Part 2, of jumping into these characters' shoes and confronting a world that feels both foreign and oddly familiar. In that regard, the game is in a league all its own, and there are simply too many adjectives to describe the range of emotions that the game will make players feel. Yeah. And many of those emotions are not positive ones. It makes you emotional! The Last of Us Part 2 is a very powerful and moving narrative that fully immerses you into the story of Ellie and the world around her. In terms of gameplay, it is a flawless experience on the PlayStation 4. Together, The Last of Us Part 2 is easily one of the best games in a long time. Better than ARMS, better than Splatoon 2, like, better than Animal Crossing? No, I don't think so. It's not the best game this year, honestly. This is unlike in comparison, but now that I've had some time to absorb The Last of Us Part 2, it reminds me thematically of Shadow of the Colossus, another game about how consuming grief and anger can be. I was similarly poleaxed by that game's clever manipulation of the player's power, the way it also used the language of video games to make you think twice about your actions. The Last of Us Part 2 is another story that could only work as a game, the kind of challenging, groundbreaking work that comes along 2 or 3 times a decade. So yeah, all of this is just shallow, empty words. The Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece that evolves the gameplay, cinematic storytelling, and rich world design of the original in nearly every way. The original was not very good. I cannot stress that enough. Let's see. Which is why I'm not going to buy the second one. Yet the scores are getting lower and lower. Let's see who actually talks shit about it. Let's see. Aus Gamers, US Gamer. Yeah, all these are just overwhelmingly positive. GameSpot, 80, Game Revolution. Ars Technica, Kotaku. People aren't being critical enough of how it's like, The Last of Us Part 2. Like, we already know all this shit about the story is simply not true. We already know the story is a piece of shit. We already know what happens in the story. You know what I mean? And right now, the YouTubers, the game journalists, Naughty Dog, Sony, they're on full damage control. They're trying to sell you this game and trying to pretend it's a good, interesting product when it clearly isn't. Honestly, this reminds me a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, right? Another game that actually got a higher Metacritic score. Holy shit, it really came out 2 years ago. That also got a higher Metacritic score than that. That also had all these crazy reviews, no negative reviews, and turned out to be a complete piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a clear step down from the original in every single way. Red Dead Redemption 2 is just pure shit, and so is The Last of Us Part 2. The gaming media isn't addressing it. They're not bringing it up. They're not being. They're not talking. They're not really talking about the game itself, what it does better or worse than the original. They're just trying to sell you a product, and at the end of the day, that is why they aren't reliable critics.